Ushaijiuliza why relationships come to an end? Like reason inakuanga ni nini? So there are many reasons as you can imagine, but one of the reasons yenye nitaanza nayo ni sometimes you might feel like you're being taken for granted. You see, especially kama ni wewe ndo una simp kwa hiyo relationship, you might get to a point to realize, hey, na umse ni mimi naanzishanga text, ni mimi I'm always looking for them, I'm always calling them, I'm always texting them, ni mimi tu natoa plan ya kupatana. So when you feel you are being taken for granted, a relationship can end because it will end with you. Wewe ndo uta decide, hey, mimi sasa sitashinda nimekimbiza huyu mtu ama sitashinda nimetafutana na huyu mtu. A relationship can end at that point. The other way inaweza end when you find out that your partner is cheating. Probably umepata messages, umeanza kuambiwa na watu stories different, unaambiwa by the way anaonekananga na huyu, ama mabeshte wako, you know, if you're a lady, a guy can actually anaweza kuwa na kati ya mabeshte wako. So mabeshte wako na confront na kuambia check text zenye chali yako ananitumia nini. So when there's always like a cheating partner, a relationship will come to an end. Kitu kingine also ni the point where somebody can get where they feel so insecure that this person will cheat on them. Even if umse haja cheat on them, a person can get so insecure and feel like umse ata cheat on me, wacha nimuache before ani cheat on me, because probably hiyo itakuwa embarrassment ama nitafeel vibaya ama ata hurt feelings zangu. And that's why you'll find that somebody might end up being single hadi afike like almost at 30-35, only because they don't want to be in a relationship, because they are so insecure and a feeling ni kama kingia relationship huyo msee partner wake lazima ata cheat. Alright, so and it's almost like a disease. Juu unajua hiyo ni ka delusion fulani umejiekea. So you can imagine that's a fear people have, that they don't want to be cheated on. So they'd rather be single than go into a relationship and be cheated on. So lazima ujiulize, if you have that fear, lazima ushinde umejiuliza kwa nini unakuaga na hiyo fear, like where does that fear stem from? Okay, because most of the time unaweza pata ni insecurity uko nayo. Unaweza pata actually, by the way, it's an insecurity that is fueling that fear. Maybe you don't think you're beautiful as much, maybe you don't, if you're a guy you don't think you're handsome as much, so unaonaga wewe tu lazima ukaenika utacheatiwa. Okay, but it's not the case. Another thing that inaweza fanya relationship come to an end is the fact that probably expectations are not being met, and it can be both ways. All right, so maybe one partner on the other hand anataka ku spend time, anataka ku have quality time with this person, but this other partner hataki. Okay, ama like for them they don't see the need for it, they don't see it as a necessity. So mwingine akisema sijakuona, I wanna see you, I wanna spend time with you, mwingine anaona kama ni umse nikaa na mnag, ni kama anamsumbua. That's one expectation that may not be met. The other expectations ni unapata probably somebody has entered the relationship, maybe let's say a lady, thinking that, you know, probably anafaa kufanyiwa hii na hii, when it comes to money anafaa kufanyiwa hii na hii, anataka kupelekwa date every other week. So you see those expectations, once they are not met, it might make the relationship come to an end, because now these people will start looking for, okay, ni wapi naweza pata quality time kama huyu partner wangu hataki kunipe, ni wapi naweza pelekwa dates na nini kama huyu partner wangu hataki kunifanyia hizo vitu. So you see, once expectations are not met, that's why it's so important hata before ingia kwa relationship na mtu. And that's why even most people will hesitate, because they first want to know what are your expectations. Na expectations utajua by asking this person, okay, so tukiingia relationship, what do you expect to change, what do you expect that we are going to do, una expect relationship itakuwa inakaaje. And once you understand the expectation, at least your relationship iko na chance ya kulast even longer. Kitu kingine yenye inaweza fanya relationship isi last long ama come to an end is the fact that probably there's so much constant argument. Like you guys mmefika pahali where you don't agree on anything, ama kuna kuwa tu na arguments every other time. And I know people say ati ni poa kuargue, you know, usikae kwa relationship yenye hamuargue once in a while. Ni sawa, probably hizo vitu zinaweza kuwa, but you are arguing, you are disagreeing to agree, ama ni agree to disagree, you are agreeing to disagree. Okay, you are getting to that point where mna realize, okay, wewe unataka hivi, mimi nataka hivi, so where do we meet at the center? Lakini kama ni zile arguments zenye hazinanga mwisho, argument inaanza leo, haijaisha by kesho tena mnaanza argument nyingine, haijaisha by the next day. So you find those constant argument inaanza ku create atmosphere fulani ama environment fulani enye ina make your relationship ikwe more toxic and toxic every other day. So kila siku una feel tu hapa kumekuwa na toxicity mob. And that's also another thing. You can find that you are in a relationship with a partner that has turned toxic. Maybe venye alikuwa na act before si venye yako. You hear people talk about narcissistic materialistic people, hataki kukuona na watu, they are trying to isolate you. So those things can make your relationship come to an end because this is not what you signed up for. Una realize umse ameturn, una realize now you're experiencing another person, si mwenye ulifall in love na yeye. So you see, when people change, when people start to change kwa relationship, maybe even it's the kind of person mwenye alikuwa na communicate, and then they get to some point and anaacha tu communicate, so they stop giving you that privilege ya probably kumuongelesha, si privilege hata kukupe hiyo chance ya kukuongelesha, like you're always talking. Unapata like, you know, it might get to a point where somebody changes na personality na change kabisa. So you ask yourself, huyu msee ni ati venye hakuwa amenionyesha their true colors, ama sasa ndio true colors zao zimetokea. So that's one thing that can actually make relationship when you come to an end na mshindo ku mend your relationship. At some point you might feel like, okay, tunaweza work on this relationship, but you see, working on a relationship requires two parties to be in agreement. Kama nyi wawili hamko in agreement, your relationship haita work hata mfanye nini, okay? And that's why you find people get to a point where they even start to be depressed just because ako kwa relationship. Why? Because they are trying everything they can to put this relationship together, but the other partner anamuonesha wewe ni aje, you are wasting your time. So anytime you feel like somebody has gotten to that point and they've stopped fighting for the relationship, hata iwork ama ikose kuwork, they don't really care, then that is not somebody that you're supposed to be with. Huyo ataendelea tu kukuhurt, and that relationship will eventually come to an end, hata kama hautaki come to an end, okay? Another thing also is bottled up issues. Do you know kuna mtu unaweza ingia kwa relationship na yeye and they never want to talk about issues. They never want, ataki, ni wale wasewa anakwambia tusiongelele hiyo ni kitu ya kwanza, haya hiyo unaachana nayo. Siku nyingine anafanya kitu kingine anakuambia tusiongelele hiyo, anaachana nayo. Siku nyingine tusiongelele hiyo. So you end up having so many bottled up issues, and it's almost like you get to that point where you feel you can't express yourself. So uko in a relationship with this person, unasema unampenda, but you can't express yourself. Amekupush to that point where you always feel like you're walking on eggshells. That means hauwezi express fully. Unafeel ni kama kuna kitu huwezi sema, unafeel ni kama umse amekukazia, unafeel ni kama umse kuna venye, you know, they judge you at everything you say. So you see, when it gets there, na hizo ndio tunasema toxic environment in a relationship. Unafika point tu una realize huyu mse, they don't want to give, you know, they don't want to give you an opportunity to speak your mind or express yourself. No, ukifika hapo, then that relationship inaacha kuwa genuine, because you can't tell them what you really feel, you can't tell them what you really think, you can't tell them, you know, feeling yako enye una feel sahi, hawezi share emotion yako na wao. So when it gets to that point, you feel like you're almost, ni kama uko na mse mwenye ameput up a wall, and it's like you're talking to a wall, unaongelesha ukuta. So huyo ni mse mwenye hakuna pali mnaenda naye. That relationship will definitely come to an end. And I think I should talk about in my next episode, like signs za kujua relationship kuna venye inakuja kuisha, okay? Another thing also, when another thing that can make a relationship to come to an end, ni ile point yenye inafikanga and you realize this person does not enjoy your company anymore, okay? So kama before ulikuwa enjoy company ya huyu mtu, it could be also you, kitambo ulikuwa enjoy company yake, but siku hizi tu vitu tudogo tunakuudhi, tu vitu tudogo una feel sasa mse anafanya nini, na labda ni kitu alikuwa anafanyanga hata from before, but every time now they do it, it's almost like you feel differently about it. So it can get to that point where you start getting irritated na mtu. Unafika point sijui umependa mtu hadi ukafika point ukapita hiyo mapenzi ukaanza kukua irritated. Sasa una feel huyu mse ako so much in your space, anakutafuta sana, huyu mse ana simp sana. And you see, you have to be very aware, juu ikifika hiyo point, even without saying it, huyu mtu anajipanga venye atakutoka, or maybe hata ashaanza kukutoka, already ashapata mtu mwingine. So wewe mwenye unapigania relationship, wewe ndio una go through all this, and that's why you will feel sometimes when una get hurt, but this other person maisha yake inasonga. It's because when ndio unakuwa irritated, ye hakuwa irritated. For them they ignore you and they don't care. For them they feel like they can talk to you whenever they want and they don't care. Kuna mtu mwenye unaweza mtext Monday anakureplyia Friday and they don't care, and mko kwa relationship but somebody is treating you like that. So it gets to a point where you realize if you don't prioritize yourself, okay, And hiyo ndio part nasema ya kukua taken for granted. Usipojiprioritize wewe mwenyewe, hakuna mtu atakuprioritize kwa relationship. So lazima ujiprioritize wewe wa kwanza, so that you can know if this relationship ina come to an end, acha basi ishe. You also have to adopt that attitude of kama inaisha wacha ishe. You know, kama wacha kaende. You get, don't be the point. Usiku ule mse mwenye every time you're trying to fight for relationships. The other thing nikimalizia ni a relationship can come to a natural end. Relationship tu inawezaisha. Hakuna kitu mmefanyana, hakuna kitu mbaya ati umsi amefanya, but it just comes to an end. It's time imeisha. You're supposed to move on, go to another person or get into another relationship. So when it gets to that point, hata wewe mwenyewe utajua, utafeel hapa tunaanza kuforce issues. And you see, we stopped forcing issues kitambo sana. So don't be that person when unasema you're still insisting, una feel naturally hii relationship ime come to an end and you guys just mutually have to end it, lakini bado unataka kubaki hapo. So these are the reasons why a relationship can come to an end.
Gachin Lion.